Swatt story time.
Stallone.
Hog Pit, 6:35 p.m. A gang of humanoid hog gangsters prepare themselves for a deal. One henchman goes inside the office and reports to his mob boss Brody.
Hey boss, the trucks are ready, and so are the boys,
says the henchman. Brody slowly turns around in his chair and asks,
Are they truly ready?
Well, Judah is a little cocky and excited to pull this off, but the others and I are a little shaky, because we know what will happen if we mess this up,
says the henchman. Brody takes a good look at his heavy hands that rarely flicker and notices a little shiver in them. He clenches and controls himself and tells his henchman,
No guts, no payoff. Stick to the plan and pray it'll work out.
But boss...
Before the henchman could finish his thought, the door bursts open while the sky cracks with thunder. A tall humanoid tiger steps inside. He is massive and muscular. He wears military gear, but the symbol of his squad is scratched and mangled. The most noticeable things that he has are his two unique blades that rest in his thighs. He walks straight to Brody's desk, passing the henchman. His presence triggers a primal fear among the hogs. The henchman's nerves break and he lets out a squeal. Maybe it is a reaction to the tiger's dominating presence, or maybe it's the silent footsteps that he took. For a humanoid of his size, he should have been stomping the floor. Instead, a deadly silence follows the massive beast. He makes his way to Brody's desk. Brody pulls his nerves and lets his talkative nature kick in.
Stallone, the striped stone cold himself, finally arrives at my pit,
says Brody with a charming tone. Brody doesn't get up from his chair, not out of disrespect, only that he doesn't want to engage Stallone in a gaze-to-gaze conversation. Because if his mouth fails and strikes a nerve, his lower position gives a non-threatening impression. Stallone doesn't seem to have any focus towards what Brody says, so Brody takes out a briefcase from his desk cabinet. He sets it on the top of his desk and opens it, revealing its contents.
5 million, ready and packed as I said it would be. If you lend me your ear and accept the job, you can take this buttload of cash,
says Brody. Stallone checks the cash and then finally gazes at Brody with the intention to listen.
There's a deal about to go down, 12 miles north from here at a house. 20 armed professional weapon smugglers will be there, and you'll have 11 of my best men with you,
says Brody.
What's the package?
Asks Stallone.
Guns,
utters Brody.
Guns?
Asks Stallone.
Yes, but properly designed for humanoid animals. No more picking tiny trash in the battlefield. No more handling weak equipment that breaks like a child's toy when we handle it. No more any of that. We'll have what made men climb on top of the food chain in our hands, but this time, it'll fit in our strong hands well,
says Brody. There's a peace talk. All military assets are forbidden to operate on both sides. You can only hope to sell these if the peace talk fails, says Stallone.
Even if humans and animals got together on a beach and start singing Kumbaya together, they would feel a lot safe if they're packing heat. Because humans can always start hunting season again. So most animals will have a sense to be prepared for that scenario. My guns would sell themselves at war and in peace. Your job is to get the blueprints of the guns and 3 trucks full of prototypes,
says Brody. You're getting the designs and 3 trucks full of prototypes. You must have given up a lot to get all of this, says Stallone.
Well, they don't want to be our animal suppliers. They can't be if the war starts again. So they just want to sell much as possible now when there's a window of opportunity. And yes, I am risking a lot. So that's why I want you to protect this deal. I'm willing to do business, but I don't trust humans. And I don't want to be screwed over. So, are you gonna do this?
Asks Brody. Stallone slightly nods as a sign of acceptance.
Sykes, get a move on.
Brody commands his henchman.
Right away, boss. He can ride with me in the first truck,
says Sykes. Stallone nods and follows the henchman outside. Just before Stallone leaves through the door, Brody says,
Stallone, I heard thunder when you came in. There might be a storm ahead.
A small one, not even worth noticing, says Stallone.
Well, sometimes the small ones end up causing big trouble, says Brody.
Big or small, you know my way of handling trouble, so don't worry about it, says Stallone and leaves through the door. "12 miles north, 7:12 p.m. Stallone and Brody's hog gang arrive at the place. The humans are already there and ready for the drop. There are 17 men outside of the house. 5 of them are wearing Guardian Exo Mach 3 and exoskeleton armor. They give humans equal odds when fighting against a humanoid animal. Stallone has faced these things in his past. Stallone turns to Sykes and says, "Tell your men to be near the humans. If something goes wrong, you'll be shot down, so you should be able to reach them before they go for their guns. Don't engage the armored ones in front. Stay at the back and take out their legs." Sykes nods and passes the info to his men. A human meets up with Sykes.
Yo, follow me.
The man leads Stallone and Sykes and 2 other hogs to the back of the truck that the humans brought. A hog hands him a briefcase. The human transfers it to his cash counter. He shows them the weapons in the truck. "All legit, as promised. You can check and start unloading," says the human. "And the designs?" asks Stallone. "After you're done here, you can go inside the house and sell that deal there. Only 4 of you can go, though, capiche?" "Shall we go inside?" asks Sykes towards Stallone. He replies, "After we finish here." After a while, Stallone, Sykes, Judah, and another hog make their way inside the house. Stallone stops and advises the group, "The big one should stay outside."
"No can do. I'm an important asset and I have to be there," says Judah.
"You'll serve better here. We won't be needing any more muscle there," says Stallone.
"I have larger missiles than you, cat boy," says Judah with a little attitude.
Stallone snarls a little. Then Sykes steps in and yells, "Judah, watch your friggin' big mouth." "Stallone, Brody made it clear that he should be present," says Sykes with a soft voice. "Why? He's not carrying the payment. I'm going to be your protection, and you're going to do the talking." "What is he going to do?" asks Stallone. "He's not going to do anything, but Brody strongly insisted," answers Sykes. Stallone not happy, but goes along with it. So they make their way to the upstairs room. There are 4 men upstairs, 2 of them in armor. Stallone notices the difference between these men and the men outside. There is focus in their eyes, their posture, and their tucked suits all shows a manner of discipline. These men aren't gangsters. They are probably active military or ex-military that has gone dirty. Stallone analyzes the room. There's only one exit through the stairs. There's a table in the middle of the room separating both groups. There are 2 windows, but none of them near Stallone. The humans and Stallone and the other hog stand in a face-to-face position towards the other group. Judah stands behind Stallone, Sykes is at his right, and the other hog with the briefcase that holds the payment is at his left. Stallone feels a little claustrophobic being in the middle of 4 hogs. The human puts the blueprints on the table. Sykes checks the blueprints. "All good," says Sykes, and backs off. The man asks, "Our payment, please?" The hog with the briefcase backs off from his current position and puts the briefcase down on the ground. Stallone looks at the hog while he opens the case. The hog stops and says, "Do you mind? It's a combination lock." Stallone rolls his eyes and steers clear. The hog opens the case. There isn't actually any money or any sort of collateral. Instead, in the case, there is a needle loaded with a tranquilizer. This deal is a trap, and Stallone is the true payment for the designs. The hog takes the needle and looks at Judah. Judah takes 1 step closer to Stallone. Stallone's ears roll back to the sudden moment, and quickly he reacts by elbowing Judah in the face. Sykes rushes in on his side while the other hog jumps at him with the needle. Stallone realizes this is a trap. He chooses to deal with the hog with the needle first. He catches the arm of the hog and twists it, making the hog drop the needle. That allows Sykes to be on Stallone, and he tries to get a hold on, but Stallone resists Sykes. Stallone knees the hog and picks up the needle. The humans take out their guns and Stallone throws the needle at a human, stabbing him. Stallone tries to deal with Sykes, but then Judah and the other hog also wail on him. Stallone tries to burst out, but by luck, Judah gets Stallone in a headlock. Sykes immediately grabs a hold of Stallone's right arm and restrains it. The other hog does the same to the left. The hogs have incapacitated Stallone, so the humans ease up a little. One man says, "You'll only get the blueprints if we get him alive. So don't just stand there. There's another needle in the case. Take it out and stab him already," yells Sykes. Stallone needs to act fast before the human gets another needle. The hogs are mushed on Stallone, and Sykes' face is near Stallone's reach. Stallone bites Sykes' knot. He tears bounds of flesh off him, and Sykes releases Stallone's right arm. The humans reach for their guns once again. Stallone immediately pulls stunned Sykes in front of him to block the gunfire. Sykes receives all the gunshots. At their round end, the armored men close on him. Stallone pushes Sykes at them with full force. Stallone claws the other hog and frees his left arm. Both arms freed, Stallone grabs Judah's hands that are still holding him. He sinks his claws through his flesh, causing Judah to let go. Now, out of the headlock, Stallone reaches back with one arm, gets a good hold on Judah, and brings him in front by tossing him over his head by one hand. He looks at his face and says, "You were way over your head, pig boy." Stallone picks him up and bites him in his throat, and then launches him towards the coming armored men, delaying them in a collision. Then Stallone pulls out his blades and lets out a roar. "Ah, crud," says the human who has realized what he's in for. Stallone charges and kills the non-armored human very easily. Then he moves to the armored ones. They engage. Stallone goes for the leg and jams his large knife in the joint where the armor is a little weak. That cripples one guardian. Then Stallone rolls and evades the other. Taking that as a retreat, the other guardian follows. It is a false retreat. Suddenly, Stallone turns and tackles the other guardian. Stallone drives his other blade through the side of the waist joint of the fallen guardian. The blade penetrates the armor, and then goes through the flesh. Finally, it kills him. The crippled guardian took the blade out, but still, the suit can't move. Stallone walks up to him from the back. He moves the human's head on the side and stabs him in the neck joint, causing blood to squirt out. All the ruckus has made the gangsters and the hogs outside alert, so the gangsters start firing at the house. Bullets burst out from the walls and Stallone stands calmly in all the chaos. Stallone takes the blueprints and then he walks up to the fallen guardian. The guardian's armor is wide and thick in the chest area. Stallone pulls the chest plate off and then he also takes some of the grenades that are in the guardian's belt. He jumps on the ceiling and starts tearing a hole through it. He tears a way out in the roof with the metal plate. Humans notice Stallone on the roof, so they reposition and start firing again. Stallone uses the chest plate as a shield and crouches to cover himself fully in it. There's a small opening on the metal plate, small enough to see through. Now he has the high ground and a view of his enemy's positions. He throws the grenades, causing panic to their united attack. In that short moment, Stallone drops the plate and leaps off the roof right into the grassy area, disappearing out of sight. The humans and the hogs pull themselves together again, but they have lost Stallone to the shadows.
"Where the hell is he? Spread out, find him," yells one of the humans. "Are you crazy? Stay close, before my kill circle," yells another human. The hogs have zero opinion on this matter. They know that Stallone won't leave without spilling all their guts. 7 humans, 2 wearing armor, stick together and perform a kill circle. Stallone throws the last grenade into their ranks and blows them sky high. Immediately all the hogs and humans stop clunking together. They separate and start searching. The hogs carry some knives and blunt weapons. They have nothing except their strength, which is not that comparable to Stallone's. "When you see him, fire with all you got, and the others also focus your attention on that position," shouts one of the humans. Stallone prowls through the covers. Whenever he sees an opening, he strikes with great speed and blade in hand, and then evades back to the shadows, leaving only screams and spilled blood behind as he cuts down his betrayers. Only one human and a hog are left standing. They immediately run to one another and join forces. "Hey, you watch my back, okay? If anything comes close, grab it, and I'll put bloody holes in him," says the last standing human. The hog nods yes and accepts to join forces. It's funny that they could have done this from the start, using the hog's strength to defend from a close attack, and could have used the human's gun's range to get Stallone when he evades. But they didn't. When they had their own kin, there wasn't any thought of combining with another party, even though the 2 groups have only one goal. But now as individuals, they don't see the other as a member of another group. They see each other as a chance of survival. The human hears slight noises. He takes a couple of steps forward, leading with his handgun. Then all goes quiet. Suddenly, a growl behind the human. He turns with his gun pointing.
he sees the hog bloodied and dead, and Stallone on top, still biting the hog's neck. He releases the hog and stares at the human. The human tries to pull the trigger, but his fingers don't respond. His nerves are frozen, and then, slightly, he starts to feel a gripping pain in his chest. He looks down and realizes Stallone has killed him instantly when he turned. The knife is plunged well. His adrenaline is still keeping him alive, so he could take one good look at his killer, and that he does. He sees Stallone, fangs dripping with blood, and his eyes sharpen as blades, the eyes of a hunter, and also the fire and pure rage behind his gaze, the gaze of the beast that burns into the human soul as the last thing that he sees.
The sight of a stone cold killer.
Hello and welcome to Swatt Story Time. And Stallone, this has been in my head for a long time, but couldn't make this a reality. The reason for that is I couldn't find any artists or animators to help me out in this story because I wanted to have more visuals in it. But I couldn't have that, so this was in the works for a long time. But then my buddy to the rescue, Jackshan here, he's also part of this channel. He said that we don't have any artists or animators, but I do Photoshop professionally. So he said, well, I can't make you any artwork or animations, but I can do some creative Photoshop and I can give you some photos like cover or some character designs. And boom, he did this. He made me this awesome, great, such a badass cover, you know. So he made me this cover and some photoshops with some characters, and he made Stallone, and all the images you see in this were possible because of him. So if you're a person who's like me, have some trouble doing this and has no artist or animators to help you out in this area, you can contact my buddy Jack. His contact details in the description. He has a YouTube channel too where he does some vlogging stuff, where he films some vlogger stuff. You can click here to go to his channel. I don't really know how to put up a link like this, but I'll figure it out. If it's not there, it'll be in the description, okay? So go check his channel out. It's great. And yeah. And I'm still looking for some artists or animators who can join in. And if you want to join in this fun storytelling project, please do. So thanks again for Jackshan for helping me do this. And we'll have more stories ahead. I hope you enjoyed the story.